Will you be embracing the D23 theme park announcements? Let's discuss. Welcome to Princess and Scoundrel, where we take you along our scrappily ever after, from Fantasyland to Tatooine, and maybe even beyond Big Thunder Mountain. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Steven.
And we're talking about the D23 announcements.
Yeah.
From blue sky to on the horizon to completely out of left field. There was a lot of news that was announced.
It was long.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Okay, so I think the thing is we got to make sure we preface it. We did not attend D23.
We did not.
Last year you were able to go.
2 years ago.
Or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This year we did not go.
No.
But we watched it on a live stream that you could find on YouTube.
There was a live stream. We were also out of town, so we couldn't watch it in Fortnite. We couldn't pull up YouTube on the TV, so it was me on my phone.
And then everybody piled around you.
Yeah, piled on top of me watching it. And then it was funny because my phone was dying from watching because it was 4 hours or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so I had to pop my handy dandy MagSafe battery pack on the back of my phone so it wouldn't die.
Link in the description.
And then as I'm watching it, it's this guy that's sitting way up in the top, like on the left side of the stage, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm real sorry. I didn't expect this to go that long. My phone's at 2%."
And it dies.
And it dies. And I think everybody was like, "Oh no!" And then you find somebody else to go watch theirs, and they had a better view the whole time. I was like, "Dang it!" But so yes, we watched all of the parks panel for D23, which is where they put out all of the news. And there's a lot of news that came out.
I think the you were kind of talking about it. There is that in the moment, in it.
Yeah.
When you're in the mix,
in the room,
there's this excitement on everything.
Oh yeah.
And you're just oh my God, your mind's blown. But then you're kind of actually sit down and you're like, wait a minute, wasn't that a blue sky thing? And they referenced, they kind of took jabs at themselves, which is interesting, right?
It was nice. They had Deadpool come out and have brown sky ideas. But there was a lot of musical numbers, which I'm sure being in the room was really cool for, because you want that. You don't want to just sit there and
a PowerPoint
suffer
presentation.
through. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to suffer through a lecture. You want the pizzazz and you want all of this cool stuff. But sitting there watching it on a phone, you're like, another musical act? Give us news. And then they even gave us news in a musical act. But the way they did it was it gave it to you in such little chunks that they haven't released any additional. They told you a sentence about something. And you're like, what is that? Tell me what. I don't know what this is. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, not yet. It's on the horizon still. So I think we should go through the news. We can attack it. How do you want to attack it? Do you want to attack it by park? Do you want to attack the blue sky first and then the completely out of left field things that were announced?
I think, and again, this is a new realm for us because we don't do
we
news.
Don't cover news.
We don't okay, this is coming out in this time at this timeline. They made the distinction that these are pen to paper. They're doing these things. So we don't have the time. I don't think you have timelines, right?
No, not on anything unless it was already in the works.
Yeah.
So
again, don't count on us for news.
Please
We're just giving our opinion on it, and is it going to be what's our take on the whole thing?
Right.
But I think we should just kind of attack those ones that are they gave us the smallest amount of information.
Okay.
And then we kind of go from there.
Okay. So the babiest amounts of information given was there's 2 new lounges coming to Walt Disney World. There's going to be one in Spaceship Earth and then a Pirates of the Caribbean theme. That was given to us in song form. So I don't think they ever said DVC. I'm going to assume it's DVC. Anytime there's a lounge, it's typically also there's no bars in Magic Kingdom. So
I feel like they're going to be Nomad type lounges though.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Oh, I guess we do have Nomad Lounge. Yeah. So maybe, I mean, it'd be
I
great.
think yeah, I think it'd be cool. Uh, and they're both in Magic Kingdom.
No, Spaceship Earth. So
Okay.
one in Epcot and one in Magic Kingdom. So
Okay.
they
Yeah,
kind of
the Magic Kingdom one, I think that's the one that looks it's the pirate themed
that's
one.
the pirate theme
So I
one
think that's they're bringing that Trader Sam's feel into the
to the
park.
park.
So I think that'll be cool.
That could be nice, and I think there's space for it. I think it would serve it well. Whoever it's for, I think if it's open to the masses, fantastic, because it's nice to have somewhere to go sit down and not be in the
Yeah.
heat.
Again, I'm relating it more to like a nomad. So each park is gonna have their own nomad.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
I like that. Yeah, because Hollywood Studios has
But
Otis.
but does that mean that Magic Kingdom's gonna be able to sell alcohol?
They do sell alcohol already. So if you go to Cinderella's Royal Table or Be Our
Okay.
Guest, you can get alcohol
It's
with
very
your meal,
limited.
but it's like very limited. It's only sit down
So
dining.
this one will be interesting if it's like an actual tavern type of thing where it's more like the tiki bar. Like if it's that, then they're gonna have more alcohol. So
Yeah.
maybe they're loosening the reins a little bit on the alcohol rule.
I mean, it is 2024.
But the thing is like, what was it last year before? Man, we had so many just like inebriated people. Like there was like that almost like a meme of here's another drunk person at Epcot, here's another drunk person at Disneyland type of thing. It felt like it was like every other week there was some drunk person fighting at the park.
Yeah. So maybe alcohol's not the answer, but I'm good with it. I am okay with it. They also dropped. So at D23 in 22, they dropped some news about a Zootopia, like Zootopia stuff coming to Animal Kingdom. And they dropped a little announcement in song form again about, it was a poster and it had Zootopia characters on it. I think it had a date on it too, but it was in Animal Kingdom and it had the Tree of Life in it. They didn't really say what it was, or it wasn't clear what it was to me. But I think It's Tough to Be a Bug might be going away.
I think that's kind of like the common thread with all of this that we've kind of noticed. I feel like they are taking the current space that they have and utilizing it better.
Yeah.
And so if it's a Tough to Be a Bug, retheme, I think it's no one ever people recommend it to go once because you have to experience it.
Right.
But
have you experienced it?
No.
No.
I don't, just because I have to experience it because it's uncomfortable, I don't have to do that.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have to do that.
No.
And that kind of leads into like one of the idea, but like Tiana's, we never went on Splash Mountain.
No.
Because we're not.
It was
water
of
ride.
no interest to us.
It was no interest to us.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have any connection to it. It was no interest to us. But when it was Tiana's, we were like, we like Tiana. We watched Tiana here at the house. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
So It's Tough to Be a Bug. There's not really that draw for us to go to it. And then that fact that we know that it's not a comfortable experience.
Yeah.
I'm not going to subject myself to it.
Right.
Now if it's Zootopia, yeah, I might take a chance on it. I might go see what's new about it and see if they change it enough where I want to go experience it again.
Right.
But if it's a full retheme or like they redo it, cool,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I am all for adding more IP in the parks, and I think that's going to be a theme of mine over the course of this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's my theme is utilizing the space that they have, and yours is going to be IP. They're like bringing in more IP.
Yeah, I don't.
It's smart business sense, right?
Business sense. Some of the other things that they dropped, Test Track is going to be reimagined. I don't think that was a surprise to anybody. I don't think they mentioned it on D23 last year, but it's just been like.
But what are they going to reimagine? Like
I don't know,
a different
they
stop
said,
sign?
like the past, the present, and the future. Yeah, right. Like I don't know what they're really going to do with
the car is going to look like it has a floating wheel or like it's floating.
Maybe. I'm again not that excited about it. Test Track's not one that's like on our must-do list every time because we still have a little one that can't do all of the big rides yet. But it's like it's a fun ride. It's fine. I think it could do well with an IP. Test Track is just Radiator Springs Racers
Yeah.
without IP.
Yeah.
And Radiator Springs Racers is absolutely delightful. And I will ride that every time I go to Disney California Adventure. I have ridden Test Track twice in the... How many years have we been going to the parks? 7 years we've been going to the parks.
Yeah.
I've ridden Radiator Springs Racers 4 times in the 2 times I've been to Disneyland. Like,
I think that speaks more volumes, right? Like, if you're actually going on these rides, spending the time to wait in line or pay for it, like
Yeah.
it's showing them like you're putting your money where your mouth is, type of thing.
yeah. So to me, like, sure, reimagine it. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna. I'll go ride it. See what's different.
It does people eat. So I think that retheming is the best bet for them. Is keep it going, keep it going strong.
That's a good point. People love Test Track. It is a thrill ride that exists in the park. If they're just doing some slight tweaks to it and they're not having to spend millions and millions of dollars doing a complete retheme on it, it makes better business sense.
And one of the other things is that, to consider on that one is such a hard one because it's an inside and outside ride
Yeah.
that
It's always down.
it's either weather or like if there's something going on the inside, like it's got double whammies.
Double trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
consider.
So I'm fine with it. One of the other things we got was the opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Disneyland, which is in November. So not new news. We knew it was coming. We knew it was a few months behind Disney World. So now there's a date that people can look forward to.
Yeah. They and I think one of that little thing was like Bayou Country, like one of the posters. So I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna be talking more about the Frontierland stuff.
Yeah, we can go to that now.
But I honestly feel that they are, because a lot of this I guess it's more weight because that was like the biggest changes. But I feel like the Frontierland, Disney is trying to redefine the Frontierland.
They are.
And that old
Let's just talk about it.
Westfield.
We're here.
The old West feel, right?
Right.
I think with Tiana's there now, and then Thunder Mountain, the Country Bear, and I'm thinking from Disney,
In Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom wise, doing that, and the big thing was they're going to be adding a Cars area to Frontierland.
Yeah, it's not a full land.
And the thing is, they talk about the frontier to the west, so it's kind of like west of Radiator Springs. So again, it's just kind of like that.
Isn't Radiator Springs pretty far west?
It's pretty far west.
Like I was like, where? I thought, where do you think Radiator? Is it an actual place? Like I don't think in the story it's like an actual like.
I thought it was like around.
Like Arizona,
yeah,
Nevada. That's pretty west, man.
They were going even further west
to California Adventure.
They're going
in Florida.
They're taking on a California Adventure in Florida. But no, I think everybody immediately was like, where are they going to put it? And like the next day, Disney kind of put this thing out where it's like this the proposed area, and it's like where most people thought like over the
Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island.
Which, again, it's using that space. We've never done it. People like it. People enjoy it. But it feels old.
It feels old. So there's two attractions that it's replacing, right? It's replacing the Liberty Bell, which is the big steamboat that you can just go up and down the Rivers of America, and Tom Sawyer Island, which you take a raft out there. It's like we've never been. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like a little area you can explore, kind of like a Swiss Family
There's a bear.
Robinson treehouse. There's live bears. It's like a little zoo. Sometimes the bears get out. There's not live bears, but there
was a live bear.
There was one time, not like they don't have like a bear in a cage, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
But
yeah, they let him run free.
I thought that was in Frontierland that it was the bear. Was it on the island?
Well, it made its way to Frontierland.
Oh, okay.
And like, go back to Tom Sawyer's Island.
Get on the raft.
Get on the Liberty Bell.
But they're outdated, and I think that's the thing, is it's people are so nostalgic for the parks and what the parks meant to them when they first visited and what they remember, because it's that thing of whatever you experience first, you attach yourself to. And so you fall in love with that thing. We've had this conversation about Star Wars. You know, the first Star Wars that you have, that is Star Wars to you. And so when things change, you're like, that's not my Star Wars. And that's what happens with the parks, is you experienced the Magic Kingdom as it existed that first time, and you fell in love with it. And when things change and they go away, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Now think about it. There are rivers of America inside Magic Kingdom that you can't swim in it. Like, it is a huge space in this park that is people can't walk on it. Like, it's useless.
Yeah, I again, I think it's a better utilization of that space. It. I feel like we are always hearing, we need more, give me new, give me new, give me new. DCA always gets new stuff when we complain. You know, Disney World complains and that we want new. Here's new, but you're like, wait a minute, but don't take this. Like, where do you want it to go?
Yeah.
You want new, but where do you want it to go?
Yes, there is tons of land in Orlando and that Disney owns, but they're not going to add a fifth park anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen. They're going to expand and they're going to change things in the land.
They're going to. I mean,
that
the
aren't
thing is,
utilized that well.
The Disneyland, like the biggest, the thing that, you know, as you know, we playfully East versus West type of, you know, argue that,
It's not
which
playful.
one's better. I thought it was playful, but just this idea of like Disneyland, it is jam packed with, you know, ride after ride after ride.
Oh yeah.
Like, they have everything there, everything that is at Disney World, Epcot, you know, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, like all these different rides, they're all into this one park because they utilize that space efficient. And, you know, we'll talk about like their new stuff, but they're very, very efficient with that limited amount of space that they have.
Good business sense.
They're not like, no, let's build another one way over here. Let's build another one over here. Like, no, let's use the space that we have as best as we can, get as much people as, you know, get as much money as we can. Like, it makes sense.
Right.
So here's this area that is underutilized. People don't.
They can't utilize it.
Early in the morning, somebody gets on there to go get their, what is it? Their signature. On the
I
first
think
one.
that's only in Disneyland.
Well, it's only at Disneyland that
I don't think you could do it at Disney World.
Okay, well, it's I thought it was like if you take that ride
maybe.
to
I don't
Disney
know.
World, or there's like a pickle over there or something. There's some like some weird thing that you have to go to.
You have to feed the pickle to the bear.
Yeah, it's something over.
And you get to sign the book.
We don't go over there, so, you know, don't eat us alive in the comments.
Yeah.
Or maybe do.
Or
Like, give us like some exposure, like how Disney fans we are.
My take on Tom Sawyer Island is that the only people that go, I was ranting about this earlier, is local Orlando moms that have like preschool age kids.
Because it's like a park.
It's a playground.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, well, let's go to Disney. We can go to the local park that has like a slide, or I could take you to Tom Sawyer Island and you can go run around and be rabid for a bit, and then we can get a Dole Whip and go home. Like, nobody goes. I'm sorry, but it's time for change.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for it because I love Radiator Springs over in DCA. That's like my favorite area.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good over
So I'm excited to see it. And again, some people may not like it because it's an IP coming over there, but we recently we did a couple of escape rooms, and we were kind of just talking about this idea of like what got us into this brand of escape rooms, and why do we prefer it more than these other escape, you know, just kind of you know, this comparison. And one of the things we talked about was same thing with like Star Cruiser and these different, like, we love Star Wars more than what the actual thing is, so we're more willing to take a chance on something that's Star Wars
Yeah.
than that it's some, uh, Looney Tunes type of thing.
Right.
Nothing on Looney Tunes, but if it's Looney Tunes or Star Wars, I'm gonna start Star Wars.
Yeah.
If it's some branded waffle, I'm gonna take the Star Wars waffle just because, like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea of like this IP. And yes, there's this idea that it stifles the creativity, but Disney is in that business of creating
IPs.
So if they want to create an IP, they could create it first, make sure it's a thriving and, it is an IP,
right?
And then they could create a portion of the park around it.
Well,
and they have so much that why not put something that they know works instead of trying to do something new?
Exactly. And when they're creating these IPs, they know exactly what they're doing. The whole reason that all of the Disney princess movies in the 90s have so much music in them is because they banked on them being successful so they could turn them into Broadway musicals. And then they took off so well that they put them in the parks and they put them on lunchboxes and they're everywhere. Like the Disney princesses just were everywhere because of how successful it was. And they've continued with that model.
Yeah.
We know it. There's music in almost every Disney movie that there is, right? And that's how it goes. They make these movies to leverage them to the best. It's good business sense, to the best of their abilities, and to put them into the parks because they own the IP. They're not having to pay for licensing or trademarks or royalties or anything like that because they own it.
Yeah.
And it's smart. It's incredibly smart. I probably will not ever go to Tom Sawyer Island. We will go. I don't think they're starting work on it until 2025 is what they said. We will be going back to the parks before then. Are we going to go to the Tom Sawyer Island? Are we going to ride the Liberty Bell? Probably not. Are we going to be there the day that those Cars rides open? Probably.
Yeah.
We love Cars.
Yeah.
We love an IP. Most people do. And I understand it's not what the park initially was. It's ruining what the initial vision was, but at the end of the day, it's a theme park and it's a business and it has to make money, and they know that these things are going to sell.
I think that's the hard part is there's this idea that, keep it exactly the same vision, this what it was. But if that's the case, you're not going to ever see this advancement in these other in-ride technology or just these experiences, because it's going to always be this train ride.
Yeah.
The train ride's great and we love it, and we could keep a portion of the train ride somewhere. But let's try something new. Let's do something new. And that vision of always trying to go look forward, that's what you're wanting to do, not just keep it what it was.
Right. Because that's what you fell in love with.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to evolve. We all do it. We all grow and we all change. Our theme parks can do that too.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
If we're venturing further west in Frontierland, we're changing Frontierland, right? I guess my main question, will there be bathrooms in the new Cars area?
Yeah, there has to be.
Why? There's no bathrooms in Frontierland.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, you got me stuttering right here.
Think about how big that footprint of the park will be now that is now Frontierland.
They're gonna have to add some.
And if you're listening to this and you're like, what do you mean there's no bathrooms in Frontierland? Because in the time that they were modeling Frontierland after, they didn't have indoor plumbing. So and every Disney adult loves to spout this, but that brown, for lack of a better word, streak that runs down the middle of Frontierland is to symbolize the poop. And so that's why you have to go to Adventureland to go to the bathroom, or you have to go all the way to Rapunzel's bathroom. And there's no bathrooms in Frontierland. So now if we're expanding further out this way.
Or further in.
Further in this way, and then we'll get to the villains area. You have to have bathrooms.
But then the next thing we were talking about is what's beyond
Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
So the Cars announcement, completely out of left field. Nobody saw that coming. When they said Yeah,
And I think it's still interesting because then there's cars over and the not Audiotop. It's what is it called? The Speedway
oh,
in
that's
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland.
I always thought that that should have been converted into like a Cars theme thing. So I don't
Yeah,
know if they're gonna eventually take that away. Again, it's
I
I'm
feel
down
like
for
that
change.
it
I
needs
think
enough people as it is, though.
yeah,
That's the
I
problem.
think those should be electric though. Like I've always
Yeah.
thought it was so archaic that they're still like these old go karts.
Oh yeah. Like I'm nauseous when I get off of that. I'm like
Yeah,
the fumes over here. Like I feel so bad for those cast members.
yeah.
But so cars
But
move
yeah,
out of
anyway,
left
back to
field. Nobody saw that coming. Uh, we we were told different things about what is beyond Big Thunder Mountain. That was like
well, it was like ideas, right?
it was the blue sky ideas. So there were a couple of blue sky ideas. Um, they talked about maybe doing Encanto, maybe doing Coco beyond Big Thunder Mountain, or and it was teased ever so slightly, a Villain's Land coming to Magic Kingdom.
If you did not put money down that it was a villain's land, like that was a easy bet.
Easy.
Epic Universe is coming out in
Next year?
next year.
Yeah.
They have a monsters.
They had
What was it? Monsters Land or what is it?
they have a
What is it called?
I think it's the Universal Monsters.
But it's what people wanted. People have been asking for it.
Yep.
Like if they didn't do it, it would have been. If they don't do it, because again, they're saying they're doing it, but I think with everybody, like for me, I'm not gonna hold my breath until it's actually done.
Yeah. Here's my beef with this announcement. They blue skied this idea back in D23 2022, the one that I went to, and people lost their minds at this blue sky idea. I don't know if they showed us concept art. Maybe they showed us kind of like the sneak peeks of a concept art back then. What did we get with this? Super vague concept art. So in the 2-year span, Epic Universe was announced. They announced all of the lands, including like walkthroughs of most of the lands and details around most of those lands and its opening before we even have a time frame of when Villains is happening.
Yeah.
Disney blue skies these ideas. They come out and they say, wouldn't it be cool if to take a temperature of if this is something that's wanted or not? Because they kind of gave us 3 options for what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain.
It's like when you talked about the songs, that's what they're kind of doing still. They're subtly here's in the song so people could start like going with those blue sky and like, oh, it could be this, it could be that.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's not any of the things that we said is going to happen. It was just part of that song.
Right. Nothing new.
Yeah.
Like really, truly nothing new. They gave us concept art, but that concept art is concept art. They can change that.
It does feel this time though more hopeful because I think they're trying to get out of that we're going to say something and not do it, because coming out of the pandemic, it was a lot of that. Like they're going to do stuff and it just didn't happen. So I think they're trying to, again, be smarter about their utilization of those spaces. That here's spaces that we have. We don't have to do a lot of major things, major changes, but we could utilize those spaces better.
Yeah. So
Villains Land.
They did confirm it. They confirmed the Villains is coming. And that is going to be a new addition to the park. They're not replacing anything with that one. So I think that was kind of the one that was like the biggest and most exciting.
Yeah, it was the last one on the build. So, but I think that's going to be like a whole addition, like a whole expansion. So
yeah. So the last thing at Magic Kingdom is they announced a new nighttime parade. That's going to be similar to the Main Street Electrical Parade. We never experienced that one, but this one is, I think, Starlight is what it's called. I think that's cool. And that's a nice, easy way. Like, I'm sure parades are expensive to put on, but you're not replacing anything. You're not having to demolish something to do that. Like, it's just something that they can
update.
add and get people in the parks and get people to stay late in the parks. So I think
thumbs up.
Good business sense. Efficiency. So let's hop over to the other, I'm going to say big announcement. Well, one of the big announcements, which was Animal Kingdom. So Beyond Big Thunder Mountain could have been in Kanto or Kogo, but what's happened instead is that they officially announced, it was a Blue Sky before, that Dino Land is going away and it is going to become Tropical Americas.
It makes sense.
Now,
It makes sense in Animal Kingdom.
it makes perfect sense. Now, Dinosaur is going to be rethemed to Indiana Jones. They did finally confirm that, even though they like alluded to it 2 years ago. There's been like super heavy rumors about it. Everybody's been rushing to ride Dinosaur because
It's going away.
it's going away. It is finally officially going away and going to become a brand new Indiana Jones story.
Which, the thing that I like about it is, even though it's similar to, I feel like it's going to be similar to Indy, but it's going to be 2 different rides.
Yeah.
Like, I am for that.
I'm
Like,
down for
I
it.
don't like a carbon copy of rides.
No.
Like, that's the part that I don't like. I want, yes, people have said it. It's not going to matter, 2 parks, because some people don't go to either one, but some people do.
Yeah.
And we do. And if we
It's
go to,
usually your most loyal of people.
but the thing is, like, when we go to one, we're like, all right, well, we're not going to ride any of those rides because we have them over here at our park. So it just becomes one of those, like, okay, well, I'm not going to ride that because we have that. I'm not going to ride that. Like, I'm not going to ride Rise because we have Rise. I'm not going to ride Smugglers because we have Smugglers. And if they're good rides, but you're just skipping it because we have it.
Right. But again, doing this, Dinosaur was not an IP. Indiana Jones is an IP. And I think people are going to be excited for it. Dino Land, not an IP. And I know that that's something that was like, it's very near and dear to like Animal Kingdom fans' hearts because Joe Rohde themed it after the Hawaiian town that he grew up in. And there's like lots of personal touches to it. And it's really cool. Like we actually really love hanging out in Dino Land.
Well, because it's like a way to breathe.
And you know why? Because there's nobody over there.
There's nobody over there. And
So-
we would go over there because we would ride Triceratops Spin because our daughter was tall enough to ride that.
Yeah.
And we could ride it multiple times. So she was entertained.
And I love that it's super messed up because there's meteors chasing the dinosaurs on that ride.
But we were able to just like stay on the ride, not even get off and get back in line. They're just like, if you want to ride it again, stay on.
Nobody's over here. Please ride this ride again. Nobody's here.
So again, when people were like, oh, I ride out, like, BS, we're over there. The
Blue Sky?
No, but like just in Dino Land, like it is very, quiet over
It's
there.
very quiet. And we love it for that.
Yeah.
But it's going to change. It's going to be more IP driven, Tropical Americas. So they're bringing, instead of bringing Encanto to Magic Kingdom, Beyond Big Thunder Mountain, they're bringing Casita to Animal Kingdom. And that's going to be a ride. It looked like a boat ride. They actually showed a lot of concept art from that one. Indiana Jones is going to get rethemed, and it's just going to be this.
There's gonna have a restaurant over there too, I think. So that quick service.
Oh, there's going to be a restaurant, and there's going to be a carousel, and it's like a wood carver that carved all of the horses from all of the Disney movies. So they're putting a lot of thought into it. I think it's going to be super cute. It's needed at Animal Kingdom. More attractions are needed at Animal Kingdom. So I think this is a good business sense. More IP, good business sense.
Using that space.
Pushing people over in that direction because you need people eat.
Yeah.
So that's Animal Kingdom. Let's move to our favorite part, Hollywood Studios. Some big news.
Yes.
Some big news. Let's talk about the first one, which is not replacing anything, but instead adding something to, in a way that a lot of people are not so happy about. So the news is Mandalorian and Grogu is a movie that is coming out, and they will be adding scenes or a whole new ride experience to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run that is themed around Mandalorian and Grogu.
So this right here and this is like for everybody. We are having to swallow that same pill that we're saying that there needs to be change, right?
Yeah.
And we have to be accepting of change because we went into Galaxy's Edge with the idea that there's this immersive experience.
Yeah.
It's a time lock. It's bubble.
They also told us that it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, we have to swallow that same pill.
Yeah.
And we have to look in the mirror and say, hey, this is what you're saying. You have to be accepting of it. So believe me, like don't come at me. This is a hard pill to swallow, but it was time locked, and it was time locked because Star Cruiser,
Mm-hmm.
this immersive experience, and we don't want just give me a Star Wars, give me a Star Wars. Well, we saw that they brought these different characters to
Disneyland
Disneyland, and even now Mando's over in
in East,
in
yeah.
East. So we saw it, and we saw it be more successful. We saw more people like clamoring for those things, and Grogu is huge. So they decided it's an easy. It's like Star Tours. That we're getting a Star Tours and Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
And the nerd in me is like, you're breaking the game, right? You're breaking
Yeah.
the immersion. But we have to look at it. I have to look at it as what's going to get more people excited for Star Wars. And yes, the nerds are going to be up in arms, but it'll get more people into that land and maybe more people excited for Star Wars.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those hard pills to swallow. So when we talk about Dino Land and Tom Sawyer, we're having to swallow those same pills too.
Yeah,
But
big time. And it's a harder one, I think, because we were initially told when the land opened that it was set between two movies, and then with Star Cruiser that reinforced it. And now that Star Cruiser's gone and they've brought these new characters in, it's Galaxy's Edge is becoming Avengers Campus. And for a while they were telling us like, oh, well, there's like these time bubbles and you'll never see Mando go this far and you'll never see this character go that far. And it's like, okay, you're telling us what we want to hear, but it's time that we let it go and embrace it, because that means if we do embrace it, and here's the thing, if we embrace this, and if Smuggler's Run finally gets above like a 20-minute wait, because most of the time when we go, we ride Smuggler's Run because it's a low wait. People aren't going on it. If we can embrace this, maybe that means we'll get more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because that was the only announcement. The only announcement, D23, of Star Wars.
Of good Star Wars. So let's bring our next point to the table.
Well, we don't know. We don't know yet.
We don't know. Another out of left field. Completely out of left field. Billy Crystal came on and announced that they are bringing a Monsters, Inc. themed land to Hollywood Studios. An entire new land to Hollywood Studios. Amazing. First thoughts. We think Metropolis. Out of here, right? They've rethemed that so many times. However, they said there is going to be a roller coaster, a thrill ride, the Disney's first suspended coaster.
Yeah.
We're like, heck yeah. We're basically doors in the factory. We're like, heck yeah, this is great. We're laughing, we're smiling, we're having a great time. They show the concept art. Does that look like Launch Bay? That looks like Launch Bay, doesn't it? That's Launch Bay, isn't it?
But this is when you're like in the excitement. You're like, yes. And then the next day, wait a minute. Where's that going to go?
Yeah.
Right now, as recording, we have not gotten word of where it's at. But the two big spaces that they're talking about is Muppets and Launch Bay. Again, a tough pill to swallow because we love Launch Bay. We love seeing those characters. But it just makes sense.
It makes sense.
Like Muppets, we go more often than we go to Launch Bay.
Like, oh yeah, 100%.
Again, Star Wars people, we do that more often.
Because they also have that frozen Coke stand in front of Muppets now too. I think they also could maybe put it back there where they have like the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy show, or like.
But I think
I think that would be really.
It backs up into it too. Like if you were like to look at a top down, like a aerial view.
Yeah.
Launch Bay, there's I think a parking lot. There's like some office buildings and parking lot behind that, behind Launch Bay, and then it backs up to Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, so maybe it could open up those two areas.
Yeah, so I could see it connecting. I could see them. I know we heard that they could retheme Rock and Roller Coaster, but I don't feel, and I'm kind of with Peter on this one. I don't think they're gonna retheme Rockin'. Like they're not gonna. It's not gonna add people. It's not gonna add tickets.
Right.
Like you're just changing it out.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the thing. I think they're gonna again utilize things, unused things that they have. Launch bay,
or underutilized
yeah, under
things.
like that launch bay and that animation area courtyard. It's quiet.
It's quiet. Now here's where
It's
I
used because again, there's a lot of kids. There's like they get to go see characters. The
yeah,
launch bay, you get to go see the characters.
and
So
they've got the little dance
like
party.
there's stuff there, and they're gonna redo
But
Little
that's the
Mermaid.
weird thing is they have been working on a redo of the Little Mermaid theater show that they have right there.
Yeah,
Like it's in the works. Like we didn't hear anything about it for a long time after they closed it for pandemic because they closed that whole area was closed
Yeah.
for the pandemic, and it took a while for Launch Bay to open back up. And when it opened back up, it opened partially. It opened just the photo ops. They didn't bring back the movie that they would show. They didn't bring back the store. There's a lot of Launch Bay that still remains closed.
yeah. And I think
And
they moved like the race speeder.
they moved
They
a
took
lot of
that.
stuff around in there, but they reopened the things that were super easy to reopen, right? Like throwing a character out there to people eat in that direction. And it sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because it's such a trek to go over there just to go meet Darth Vader or Chewbacca, which you can go see walking around
Over in
Galaxy's Edge,
Yeah.
who apparently now does like meet and greets over there. Again, we embrace the change. But either one of those is like a gut punch because this is our favorite park and because Star Wars means so much to us, and we love the Muppets.
Yeah.
We love the Muppets. We love Pizza Rizzos. It's rat pizza.
Rat pizza. But
again-
did they talk about having a restaurant?
In Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they did. I don't think they did.
Okay. Because again, the if you look at the footprint, they're pretty like comparable in size. Like the launch bay and the area behind it,
Yeah.
and Muppets. So it's like it really is a toss up, and
I-
it could be something that they're like planning for both and see who gives the more uproar, and they're like, all right, we're not gonna do it over there. We'll do it on the other one.
I think there's going to be uproar. As much as we love Star Wars and we love Launch Bay, I think Launch Bay is the way to go because removing Muppets from the parks is just like a terrible idea because
but-
you're erasing like
Well, no, and then again, you think about the IP. You're going to be erasing an IP, and that's the only Muppets that they have. Whereas
the only Muppets.
Launch Bay, they have
They have a whole land. We have a whole land.
yeah, and all those characters that are over here, like the Disney Junior characters, they have that the
Go move
the
them somewhere else.
Olaf the Olaf meet and
Yeah,
greet.
move them over there or something,
Yeah.
or throw them in the store that was behind Muppets. Remember the Muppets, the store they had.
Oh
back
yeah,
there?
yeah,
Yeah, or open that back up. Come on, man.
yeah.
So, bittersweet news. I'm super excited for a Monsters Inc. land.
Yeah.
I'm excited for more in Hollywood Studios just because that is our favorite park to go to. We love everything about that park, and so having to change things. But again, we have to take the advice that we're doling out, which is to accept and embrace the change, and so we will do that. So I think that's most of the stuff that's coming to Disney World. We can briefly go over the Disneyland stuff, which I'm furious. I am absolutely. I was so jacked for this.
Wait. You're furious. I think Disney World got a lot of news. The news that they got was Blue Sky, right? Avatar. They're gonna get an Avatar.
They're getting
right?
their Avatar land.
Where is it
which,
gonna go? That's their question too.
Who knows?
But man, they crammed again. I said it before. They cram stuff over there, and I love the efficiency. Like I love the
We
efficiency.
love to see it.
And they're adding more Avengers, 2 Avenger rides.
They're doing 2 Avengers,
Yeah.
2 rides in Avengers Campus.
They have space. Like there's like that parking
They built
lot.
that space in for it. Like they knew there was always meant to be another ride there, but they surprised us with 2 rides,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting.
I don't think it's like 2-4. I think it's like a ride and then like
Kind of like a Triceratops spin,
Like a spinner ride,
but
yeah.
also like a looks like a really terrible Triceratops spin. Like, ugh, I don't know that I'll do that. We'll see.
there isn't that like the same ride as that that's going to Epic. That's spinning like it's a
like the
it
Dragons
spins
one
and
where it like
spins.
picks you up and it like.
like you double spin. Like it spins and then you could spin.
You're on like basically like imagine a crane arm that like picks you up and just like like whips you around.
Yeah.
Like I think that's
it's
what
a
it
very
is.
carnival feel to me.
It does feel like that. So here's the other thing that they're going to get. Let's talk about this and then we'll end with my no. We'll talk about my fury first and then we'll end with the last bit of news. My fury is that my favorite Pixar movie of all time is Coco.
Yeah.
and Disney California Adventure is getting a Coco ride.
Yeah.
Listen, I love the Three Caballeros ride,
Bring it over to Mexico.
but just put it in the Mexico Pavilion, and I'll just happily live in the Mexico Pavilion.
Yeah.
I'm so happy Coco is getting a ride.
Yeah.
I'm just so sad that it is not the park that we go to all of the time, because it is, I think, an underrated movie. The whole family absolutely loves that movie. It is a favorite here. I'm so happy to see it exist in the parks in a bigger way. I just wish that it was something that I could experience more often. That's where I'm jealous, and I will admit that I'm jealous. But I'm so happy that Coco is getting a boat ride. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to make our way out there to go see it whenever it does come out.
It's on the horizon.
It's on the horizon.
So let's wrap with I think the most interesting news that came out, which is it an IP? Let's discuss. They're going to do a Walt Disney audio animatronic in Disneyland, and it's going to be alternating with Lincoln. But so it's kind of like what they do in France, where they have the Beauty and the Beast sing along, and then they have Impressions of France. Doing an audio animatronic of Walt Disney just seems so risky from a fan acceptance perspective.
I think, like, kind of like I was saying, I think the current Disney is trying to redefine that Frontierland, because it's it's Disney, here's Disney, Walt Disney, his vision and his words, that sentiment of like
rooting it in the real world, like Frontierland is like based on American history.
Yeah, well, and then just like this idea of American history.
Yeah. Like the American history that we all were raised on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other part of it, is like just to kind of give us some flavor.
Right.
I don't think it's to erase, but like the Hall of Presidents, just like Tom Sawyer, like
yeah.
we've been in there, I think twice.
I've been once. Did you go twice? Maybe you went twice when we had other family in town.
But it's like one of those things that you just do once and you kind of, that's it. But it's and again, I'm thinking from Disney World side of it, the Hall of Presidents. But I think there's controversy there that shouldn't necessarily be in a
theme park.
A theme park
that should be at like a monument or a museum or somewhere. Like the Hall of Presidents, the fact that it exists is super cool, but the fact that it exists in Magic Kingdom next to Dole Whip and Pirates of the Caribbean and Jungle Cruise, it's weird.
Yeah, and I think it would be better suited somewhere else.
Yeah,
and Disney could loan it to the Smithsonian.
Remember when Disney was going to make an American themed theme park? That would be a good place for it.
But I think that could be a better place for it.
Yeah.
And then just kind of, again, rethink that area.
Yeah.
Of the frontier.
Right. But I think going back to the
and maybe it's more of like paving new ways and looking at it that way. I don't know.
Literally the pavement, getting rid of the brown streak down the pavement. I think making Walt an animatronic, though, I don't know, something about it is like uncomfortable to me. I respect the partner statue. I love the dreamer statue. I love all of the statues that they do of Walt and of Roy. Doing an animatronic, like bringing somebody to life.
I think that's
like
the weird
that
thing.
is just strange to me.
That's the same thing again with the presidents. Like,
yeah.
The ones that are far and there's a distant time, it doesn't feel real. But when there's like current,
that's weird. A real person that exists that you're turning into a robot. Like, it's okay that it's Elsa because Elsa never existed as a real life human, but like Walt was. I don't know.
Like even the Carousel Prague is like, here's like fictitious people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like, yeah, they may be like of our time, our current, wearing the same jeans and whatever, but it's not a real life person.
Right. And yes, we know like Spaceship Earth has Steve Jobs and has like all these, you look at those animatronics and tell me that they look like those people. Like, it's strange. It's very strange to me that they decided to go with that. They're adding this. I don't know. Yes, it will eat people. But I don't know that anybody was asking for a Walt animatronic.
And again, I want to see for the naysayers of like, oh, we'll bring back, Lincoln, the numbers of how many people actually went.
How many times you go see Lincoln then? Tell us. How many times you go to Tom Sawyer Island? Huh?
Like, I think that would be the most telling of like, look, the numbers can speak for themselves.
Yeah. How many times do you go see BB-8 in Launch Bay? Tell us.
Yeah.
And if you're getting rid of BB-8, can we have him? We love a BB-8.
No, they're gonna be a
house.
backup over at
at Rise.
Yeah.
Oh, but he doesn't move. You know those mechanics are different on the inside. And that one's kind of small. The meet and greet one. That's not life size, is he?
Yeah.
He seems a little.
I think the head's smaller.
Oh, that's what it is. The proportions on that one are a little off.
Yeah.
Pass. Thanks, but no thanks. So those are the big announcements that came to the parks. They did also announce, again, completely out of left field, that they're adding 4 new cruise ships to their fleet beyond what they had previously announced. So there's going to be like...
They heard that I'm a cruise person now, so they're like, let's add a couple more ships.
Get ready. No Star Wars on it, but get ready. Maybe. But we're getting 4 new cruise ships.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a Star Wars themed cruise ship.
Oh, man. Don't even.
Retirement plans? I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what they're bringing to the cruise line. Because if they're bringing 4 new cruise ships, like, they have to have plans to... They're going to disrupt the cruise industry in some way, kind of like Royal Caribbean did with Icon of the Seas and building a completely new one. They tried to do that with Wish, with like, changing the layout of it. I think they're going to do something really big with these next 4. And I'm curious to see what that is. But we'll see. That's a topic for another time, because all we know is that there are 4 new cruise ships coming between now and 2031 or something like that. Yeah. 35.
And then before we leave, there's Disneyland Paris is getting a couple things. Pride Rock, which looks like a Splash Mountain.
Yeah. And finally the Frozen. The one that they, I think, announced and unannounced and re-announced. So.
And then Shanghai's getting a Spider-Man ride.
Oh, yeah.
So. Everywhere's kind of getting some stuff.
They're getting things. They're getting shows. I think
Disney World got the biggest wow factors.
It really did.
So
I think it's good stuff. I'm excited for it.
I think it's change. Again, I think the biggest thing out of it is like there's change coming. Are you on board or not? So.
And I appreciate that regardless of whether they want to call it blue skies or horizons, like they're committing to these things now, and I think they heard all of us being like, what are you really telling us here? So I welcome it.
Yeah. So you guys, you all out there,
y'all,
you let us know. Like, are you down for the changes? Are you excited for it? Are you sad about what we may be losing?
Where is Monsters Inc. gonna go? Please tell us. We would love some certainty around that.
Yeah.
We need to know who to pour one out for. So yes, tell us all of your thoughts on the D23 news. We would love to hear it. And
Mosh Isley coming up in Atlanta.
Yeah, for Dragon Con. It's our first time going to Atlanta. So tickets are available at moshisley.com. It is going to be on Thursday, August 29th. We are going to be playing at Hell in the Masquerade. That's the name of the room we're going to be in. So we hope to see you there. We hope to see you in the comments. And we hope to see you next time.